Alright, welcome back to Fast Gadgets. Well, I did quite a number on my AMD desktop. Well, actually it's a tower computer. Unfortunately, I killed Fedora 25 on it when I was trying to install my Nvidia drivers, so I think what I'm going to do is reinstall Fedora 25, and I'll see about installing the Nvidia drivers. There's actually another way to install them that I was thinking of doing, so I may go with that. But I see I already have a video problem, so I'm going to pause and fix that. Well, I'm here working on the computer, and lo and behold, it would not boot up. No big surprise there, right? So I took out the GT640 video card that I have, the Nvidia, which has always worked perfectly fine. And now when I take this out, it does seem to work. So all I have to do is plug my connection in, my HDMI connection, into the motherboard directly, which uses the Intel onboard drivers. And I've got, of course, my SSD for Linux, and then I've got an SSD down here for Windows. So not really sure what's going on. I do have the system overclock, so I think the last thing I'm going to try, I'm going to power this thing up, and I'm going to go ahead and get into the BIOS. And I'm going to find out if the problem is, here we go, so I'll hit the delete key, the overclocking. The funny thing is I've been running it for a good year, and the overclocking I'm doing, I'll show it to you. This is a 2.8 gigahertz processor, and the overclocking is super minimal. So I do get this warning because I keep resetting it over and over and over because the video card isn't working, but I really don't think that has to do with the overclocking that I did. So here's the overclocking that I was doing. It's, you choose which one you want to do, and I basically had it at the minimal setting, so it was only doing like 3.0 gigahertz, and it was not running hot at all whatsoever. So I'm going to go ahead and save the changes. I'll disable the overclock, and I'm going to let it do a reboot first. Once I see the screen, know that the BIOS loaded okay. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put that video card back in, so give me just a second. Alright, got the card back in, and I'm going to flip the power back on. Hit the switch. Now, on the keyboard you would see that it would actually indicate that it was rebooting. Well, I should say trying to boot up. Let's see, one more time, I think it'll blink. Yep. Now at some point I should be able to hit numlock or see something. Honestly, if it's just a video card, I'm really glad, because at least that way I can buy a new video card, and mine was really old anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Now this is really, really strange. Oh, the fan came unplugged. My bad. So my exhaust fan here was unplugged. No big deal. Yeah, I think basically I've lost this card. Maybe it got a surge through the TV or something, through the HDMI. Something happened. I don't really know. This is one of the reasons I don't really like towers or desktop systems anymore, because basically, you know, it's like a crapshoot. You turn it on, there's a part bad, you gotta troubleshoot it, figure it out, do all this stuff. I had problems getting Fedora 25 and the Nvidia driver working, obviously because the video card was probably going out. Just all kinds of problems. It's really a pain in the rear end. So I just like laptops. You basically turned it on, powered up, and you're good to go. So here I was just going to do a simple Fedora 25 install on this system, and it's my 6-core, which I really like. And I can't, but I think what I will do though, pull the card, turn the overclocking back on, and get it set up and see where I'm at. Alright, well, she's booting back up. I guess I'll go into the BIOS yet again. Oh, I hope I hit that soon enough. I bet I didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and do Control Delete again. I really like this system because I've got so there's the original clock speed, 2.8 gigahertz. It's got a 6 cores, it's got plenty of memory in it. It was normally very stable. And I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to set this for automate and then just do the V6 tech, which is a very low overclock. Considering anyway that I basically got the processor maybe, yeah, 3.08, so that's nothing right there. I'm going to do Control Alt Delete again because I've got to boot up to it. Boot into my USB, I should say. Well, I got it to boot up. Now let's see if I can see my, yeah, there it is right there. That's my bootable media. And I do apologize for the terrible angle here. Now that I've got this video card out, I think I'm going to go ahead and get this system back together. Oh, I don't need to check the media. I feel pretty confident. What I'm hoping I can do is just a restore, well, not a restore, but a reinstall over my current Fedora 25 installation without doing any changes whatsoever to the drive. Who knows, maybe I can save my home directory. There really isn't anything on my home directory I'm worried about, so that's not an issue. It just curious me. I don't know where my mouse is. Well, give me a second. I'm going to go find my wireless mouse. Alright, I'm back. So I've got a Wi-Fi mouse and keyboard, which is really quite helpful. So let's move this so you can see the whole screen. There we go. And while I was inside, I guess it was a good thing because I discovered one of my case fans was... oh, that's odd. Guess I accidentally hit a button. So let's see if I can do install the hard drive. Yeah, one of my case fans on the very bottom, my SATA cable went into the fan and stopped it from spinning, but once I removed the cable it worked perfectly fine. So I think what I'm going to do is just go through the installer here and get myself back to square one. I'm really hoping I do not have to overwrite. Now this is the tricky part, isn't it? So here is my 4 terabyte backup drive. However, I do not know what's installed on these disks. So I can select it, but it doesn't tell me what's installed on them. This is really bad. Cancel, yeah, let's quit. I'm pretty sure I want to quit at this point. I want to make absolutely sure I'm not going to blow away Windows. Well, let's cruise over to utilities and see what we got. Disks. 240 gigabyte disk is NTFS. So this is dev SDA. So the other 240 is dev SDB. Okay, I'm good with that. I probably could have used another command, but I've forgotten half my commands, so no worries. I got what I need. And I guess I'll close the terminal and I'm going to restart. Can we close that terminal? Can we do that? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, very good. Okay. No, I'm not being sarcastic at all. All right. Yeah, this machine is just so much better to edit with. Hello. Continue. And we are frozen. Cool. Oh, and now we're unfrozen. And yeah, whatever, right? Okay. Got my disk selected. Your current Fedora software requires 11.74 gigs of space. The disk you've selected has the following amounts free. You don't have enough space available to install Fedora. So there's no such thing as doing a inline install, so to speak, where you just install over a current installation. So I'm gonna have to delete all the partitions, which is a big pain. So I've got to format it or something similar. Let's see if we can do this in the GUI. And I'm assuming anyway, I'm hoping it's not mounted. And can I actually do something? I can create, restore, benchmark, edit mount options, edit file system. What's this minus do? Yep, I'm sure. Yep, I'm sure. Goodbye. There we go. We got free disk space now. Unallocated. This is a really nice tool. I didn't think it would work that well. Pretty cool. Okay, so we've got this disk selected. Now I'm wondering if I need to do, it's going to do a rescan. It has not. So what has to happen here? I'm going to quit maybe, so it'll rescan the disks. It's worth a try, I guess, but I have a feeling I've got to reboot or something. Alright, so I will click continue, and there is at least a 20 to 30 second delay. I will select a disk for the 10th time, and now it shows the free space. How quaint. No need to rescan, just trust us, we know. With this icon before continuing to the next step. Okay. Begin installation. Might as well set the root password. Okay, are we good? So we're good. We're going to create a user. And we'll make him an administrator. And I'll stop it. We'll click done. I must admit, this is really quite snappy, considering that it's using the super duper low quality onboard Intel video. I do remember though, at the time when I bought this, actually it might not be an Intel. I want to say it was like a, I'll have to check on that motherboard. I think it was like a Radeon 4250 or something like that, some ATI chips at the time when I bought the board, and it was the best video I could get on board, because I had built like 4 of these computers and I wanted each one to have onboard video at least to start, and that way later I could increase, put a new video card in it if I wanted to. I'm gonna be really sad if that video card's burned out. It just, the system just sat here. It was turned off, nothing going on, so I'm not sure what happened. But anyway, I'm gonna get Linux fired up here, and my wife should be home soon from work, so I probably will put VNC on here so I can do some remote desktop stuff, which is awesome. And I think this thing's going to try to drive it in full HD, actually Ultra HD, because my TV's a 4K, but although the old video card can do that, I'm pretty sure the new one, the onboard can't, so I'm going to change it to do only 1920 by 1080, and we'll see what it gets me. Bummer deal. Alright, we'll be back as soon as the installation is complete. Alright, so here's the video card in question. My Galaxy GT640. Trying to remember, let's see, how much memory does this thing have? 1 gigabyte DDR3, 128-bit. Not the greatest video card ever, but it certainly does the job that I need and actually works pretty well. So I've taken the screw out. I'm going to go ahead and stick it back in there. Again, it did test out just fine in my son's computer, so I'm going to go for the gold. I mean, the worst that can happen is it doesn't work and I just have to do something else. Now, he did test it on the VGA port. I'm testing it on my HDMI port, which is what I've always used for this video card, because that's all I've got is the HDMI port. I actually don't have any other way of hooking it up to this particular computer. So let's see if I can do this without bumping you guys around too much. It's funny, everything's always easier when you don't have a camera in your face. Alright, so let's see. And I'm not in the hole. Ugh. Here we go. Power just went on, and I'm going to pull back the camera, and pardon the terrible angles. I really don't want to do too much at this point in time if it's not going to work. So I'm just shooting the camera up here at the TV screen, and we'll just find out what happens. So the keyboard lights, I have not seen. Okay, there they go. They just blinked. Blinked again. Caps lock and num lock aren't doing anything. And of course I have SSDs, so I can't hear the hard drives if it's booting up. It says no signal. Check the external input or select another input on the TV. This is what it says. And I've got nothing on the keyboard. Darn. Well, I think since we're trying things, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get my computer because we're going to try to SSH into the computer to see if it's even booted up. Alright, so I grabbed my laptop and I'm going to put in my password. And give me 1 second. I have to make sure I don't have any student records on the screen. Alright. No student records. I do have a virtual machine running, no big deal. So basically what I need to do, I'm going to clear this screen here, and I got to see what the IP was. Okay, 192.168.1.134. So I'm going to start by get this over here so you guys can see it better. doing a ping. Let's just ping the IP. Ping 192.168.1.134. Oops. 134. So this system isn't even booted up. I put the video card in, and the system will not boot up. I wonder if the slot's bad on the motherboard. I think I might have gotten away with not hurting the card. Yeah, let's make sure I can ping 192.168.1.1, which is the router. Yeah, I can ping the router. Alright. You know, there's only one other thing I can think of that I can try, which is power the system down, take the card out, turn off my overclocking. Maybe it's an overclock problem. So I'm going to try that. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pop that card out, go into the BIOS, turn off overclocking, put the card back in, and we're going to try one more time. Okay, got a slightly better angle now, seeing as we're going to be working for a little bit. So I'm going to fire up the computer. And now, did you hear that? You hear how the CPU fan goes to full speed initially? See that right there? You know, I'm telling you, it doesn't do that when I have the Nvidia card in, so I really think there might be a problem with the slot. And I get that message about overclocking error, and I only get that when I have that card in. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to change it to normal, no overclocking. If it ends up that I can't overclock it, that's not a very big deal, because earlier I had experimented with overclocking only the memory, and the memory actually can go to 2 gigahertz, I believe, and it's only running at like 1333, so I can individually overclock the memory and leave the CPU and north and south bridge alone. Okay, so I'm going to save and exit changes, say okie dokie, and I'll just let it boot up first. Okay. I want to see the screen. I want to make sure it's still booting, and it is. And I'm now down to my 2.8 gigahertz original processor speed. I've killed the power. And putting the video card in. So, got the video card back in. Alright, just realized that the video had cut out, and I don't know when, so just to give you an update, I went into the BIOS, turned off overclocking, put the Nvidia card back in, so it's in right now, and we're dead. Now, without the Nvidia card in, when the computer finishes its BIOS self-test, that CPU fan revs up to full speed. And guess what? It didn't. So, I'm going to see if my son will let me test his video card. I'm thinking it's a bad slot, because this video card worked fine in his computer, so I am led to believe it's a bad slot. And it's kind of tough, because the computer sat here for 2 weeks, didn't do a thing, and then I powered it on, and the Nvidia card didn't work anymore, so I don't know if it got a surge or what. Totally depressing, I'm not going to lie. I've got it on a surge protective plug bar, but you know, that stuff doesn't mean anything and if you don't have a really good one. Alright. I'm going to shut it down and take that card out. This is my boy Blake. He's helping me out. So we've got... Ouch! That light is so hot. We've got his monitor in here that will do a power on self-test, and he let me borrow one of his cards, and I'm going to test this card and see how it works. So this card is a GeForce 6800 GT 256 megabyte DDR3 dual DVI PCIe. And if this one doesn't work, I think the computer's got a bad slot. Okay, we're gonna kick the power on. And here's the monitor. We want to see it. Alright, well, once again, I see that the video stopped. So I'm running out of room here, but anyway, so far it's not working. The other video card, and we're going to try a VGA card, or a VGA cable, and see how the VGA cable works out. See if we get a signal, because right now it's saying out of range. But my resolution was set for 1920 by 1080, so it should have worked. Luckily, Blake's got all the cables we need. Did these cables come with the monitor?
Oh, this is...
Well, unfortunately, the only thing I could get to work is the onboard video. This machine just doesn't want to boot with the video card in. The only thing I can think of trying now is resetting the BIOS to the optimal defaults, which is the only BIOS setting that I'm allowed to do. So, I mean, why not, right? What's worse that could happen kind of thing. I'm going to power it off and reset it and see what happens. I mean, that's one possibility, but I don't think there was a BIOS issue in the first place. So I don't know that it'll help at all. I guess I'll find out. So I'll head into the BIOS here, and if I go all the way over here, the only choice I have is optimal defaults. So I wish I had a default, but whatever. I'll load them. Save configuration changes and exit setup. I'll let her boot up again, and then I'll power it off, and I'll throw the card in one more time for posterity's sake. Anyway, the video keeps cutting out, and I don't know what's been recorded and what hasn't been recorded, but I did the BIOS defaults, and I put the video card back in and tried that, and I'm not getting boot up, so I think I'm hosed with this card, and I'm pretty much going to give up on the card. But the sad part is that the part that I really need is the motherboard, so I almost wish the card had burned out, because unfortunately the motherboard has everything in there that I need, so that's a bit of a problem. And you know, I've already got the CPU that I want to use that's good enough. I've got the memory, and I did have a good video card, so I can run the onboard video. But the problem is with the onboard video, although it's okay, it really isn't all that great beyond 1080p, and no way in heck is it going to run as a gamer's machine. So I guess I'm kind of stuck there, and I would have to look at getting a new motherboard in the near future. And just for those of you who are wondering, yes, I definitely did take out the that tiny little card. Is a PCIe USB 3.0 card, and I did take that out and try that, so no go scenario there. It's acting like it's got a short because the fan is not revving up on the CPU. I cannot click any of the keys on the motherboard. I get no action from numlock or the caps lock here, which is usually an indicator to me that something's up. So yeah, I think this one's just kind of hosed. But it will work with the onboard video, so I'm going to live with it because I do got quite a good setup that I really like. So, alright, I'm going to end this here, and there will be a lot more to come with the set up here on my computer, and I'll be testing Kdenlive out, see what kind of performance I can get. Thank you for watching as usual, and I'll see you next time.